8:40 a.m. I'm Scott Kahn, the Human Service Commission President. The Commission Secretary will now take roll and then provide instructions for public comments and remote access.
Good morning, Commissioner. Please say here when I call your name. President Kahn.
Here.
Commissioner Semmel. Commissioner Hoglund McDonald.
Present here.
And Commissioner Singh, I see you on the screen. Are you able to say here? Raise your hand. Well, he's here. Sorry, he's supposed to announce who's in the room with him, and it's his wife who assists him during the meeting. So, Commissioner Singh, can you hear me? And if so, can you raise your hand? All right, well, we'll work on the volume issue. We have a quorum. Thank you. And I'm just going to go over the public comment rules quickly. Public comment is available on each item on this agenda and during general public comment at the end of the meeting.
Follow the agenda.
Will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. The public is attending this meeting in person in the Bourne Auditorium here and remotely via WebEx and on the phone. During each public comment period, we will first address in-person comment, then WebEx attendees, then phone attendees. For in-person public comment, please fill out a yellow public comment card available at the back of the room, back there, and bring it to me. It's not required, but it helps me stay organized. For WebEx attendees wishing to provide public comment, you will be instructed to use the raise your hand feature when I announce public comment. And then I'll call on you when it's your turn, or my colleague Abhishek. For phone attendees wishing to provide public comment, when your item of interest comes up, dial *3 to be added to the speaker line, and then wait for the prompt before speaking. So the phone number for the meeting is 415-655-0001. And then the access code is 2664-460-8466. And then you may be asked for a password, so just enter #. When connected to our meeting via WebEx or phone, you will hear the meeting discussions, but you will be muted and in listening mode until public comment is open and you raise your hand or enter *3. If you run into any issues, please text me or call me on my cell phone, 415-535-2386, and we'll try to figure out how to help you. And that's all I have for public comment. Thank you, President Kahn.
Adoption of the agenda. Are there any comments or questions from the commission regarding the agenda? Is there any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 3 of the agenda.
I move the adoption of the agenda.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Item 4 is the adoption of the August 24th regular meeting minutes. Are there any comments or questions from the commission regarding the minutes?
Thank you to the secretary and hard work on the minutes. I move the minutes with joy.
Is there any, well, first off, is there any other public comment?
If there's any public comments to start for your raising hand, please. And we'll just wait. Okay.
Hearing no request to speak on this item, is there a motion to approve item 4, the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor? So moved. Item 5 is the Executive Director's Report. Deputy Director Dan Kaplan is stepping in for Trent Rohr today.
Thank you. At the federal, state, and local level, I think I'm charged with the agency level. Federal level, the big news that we're dealing with is the threat of a federal shutdown. At this point, it certainly looks likely that a shutdown will happen. And so the question that we always wrestle with at a moment like this.
Sorry, we can't hear you very well. It's our speakers or sharing something and it's not working, but sorry.
Okay, is this any better? All right, good, I have my orders. It looks like we're going to have a shutdown, and then the question is, what does that mean for human services programs? We've done a lot of discussion about this at the state level, and the bottom line is it looks like the human services program funding will be okay in the event that the shutdown is relatively short. So when we look at this, we look program by program. The SNAP program or the CalFresh program is one where it looks like there is funding that is available at least through the month of October. There'd been a big discussion about whether we wanted to issue October benefits early so that it would happen before the end of the federal fiscal year. But it was decided that that's not necessary. So we'll be able to issue October benefits on time in the full amount, and that will be fine. For the Medicaid and the child welfare programs funded by Title 19 and Title 4E, those programs have advances from the federal government, and the advances are done on a quarterly basis. So states already have the money they need for the next quarter. So those are taken care of. And then the fourth major program that we look at is TANF or CalWORKS in California. And this is when where money does run out, federal money and federal spending authority does run out on September 30th. But states are able to spend any unspent TANF money that they have still from previous years. California does have some. And the CalWORKS program is a program that is jointly funded with federal and state money. And since we're very early in the fiscal year, a great deal of the state money has not yet been spent, and CDSS can move money around in the program. And for a while, at least, continue to fund the program in full with state money if they have to. So all four of those programs have slightly different stories to them, but they're all going to be fine as long as the shutdown is relatively short. We start getting into a situation where we're talking about more than a month, then we've got a whole other set of issues. And most people don't seem to believe at this point that we're going to be looking at a shutdown that long. But, we will see. So more on that next month, or maybe if we're lucky, not more on that next month. At the state level, we're in sort of a quiet time. The governor has until October 14th to sign bills that have been passed or to veto them. There are a number of human services bills that are on his desk, but they are relatively small compared to what we've tracked in past years. So we are watching them, but they don't have major impact to our programs, so I won't go into them. We're also beginning to get ready for the next legislative session at this point, and we within the San Francisco Human Services Agency, and then working with other counties, are beginning to develop a legislative agenda for next legislative session, but that hasn't come together yet. So we're in a quiet period there too. On the local level, over the last several months, Trent has certainly mentioned the citywide effort to address drug use, especially among homeless individuals, especially in the Tenderloin and South of Market neighborhoods. This effort has been coordinated by the Drug Market Agency Coordination Center, or DMAC, as everyone calls it. I actually had to look up what that stood for today. That started off being coordinated by the Department of Emergency Management. It's now being coordinated by the police department. And HSA's role in this has been relatively circumscribed. We are charged with setting up a program that's been called the Journey Home Program. It is modeled after our Homeward Bound program. And the goal of the program is to provide an offer to people to support their travel back home or to a place they've lived before, where they have people who they can land with and who they can start fresh with. So HSA has been working on this in partnership with Homelessness and Supportive Housing. The program includes a sort of low barrier assessment and acceptance into the program, funding for short stays in hotels or shelters, provision of personal items, and then payment for transportation back home if someone wants that. Program launched this week. When police are intervening with people on the street, they will talk about the availability of this program. If there's an interest, they will call into the program and our staff will come out and assess them. At this point, we are now 3 nights into the program. We have had no takers yet. So we will see how big this turns out to be. But the program is up and running. We have a team led by our disaster response manager, Doris Brony, that has worked out the program, worked out the links with all the other agencies that are involved in this effort. And we're up and running, and we will provide program services when they're wanted. Okay. On Tuesday, the mayor held a press conference. Supervisor Dorsey spoke and Trent Rohrer spoke at that conference. And the mayor made a proposal with regard to our CAP program. And so let me take a step back first and just remind everyone that under state law, every county is required to have a general assistance program. And that program is defined very broadly at the state level and is left to counties to define within the very broad state parameters. In San Francisco County, the program that meets that requirement is the County Adult Assistance Program within the HSA. Our program is a little bit more complicated than many other counties, but it is the program that meets that need. And so, as you know, the program provides cash assistance to clients. The base grant is $697 a month. It provides access to welfare to work services. It provides access to SSI advocacy services for people for whom that's appropriate. It also brings people into the eligibility system, which allows us to assess them for eligibility for CalFresh benefits and Medi-Cal benefits, which most have. Commissioner.
Is the fact that we're both the city and the county complicated things or make it easier?
I don't think either. It is counties that are required to have these programs, and I would say that we run this program legally under our county hat now. Most cities don't have a separate program. So in LA County, for example, it's It's the county that runs the program. The city of LA does not. So the state law that requires us to have such a program also allows counties to require drug testing and participation in drug treatment programs for people who test positive. And we have not done it in San Francisco. But the mayor's proposal is essentially to start doing that, to say to people as they're applying, you need to take a drug test. If you are found to be a substance user, we will have a range of treatment programs that will be available for you. We will go through the process with you of figuring out which are the most appropriate. We will pay for them. And if you consent to taking the test and you consent to treatment, if you are positive, then you are certainly eligible for CAP services. So that's the notion here. Sure. Okay. Is this better? Sending signals to Elizabeth, who will flag me. So it's okay. This is something I'll take all the help with I can get. Is that better? Okay, good. So the proposal is out there. It's on the screen. It's 3 days old. The treatment programs that we have potentially available for clients are residential treatment programs, medical detox programs, medically assisted treatments, outpatient abstinence-based treatment. So there are a variety of different approaches that are potentially available. This change would require legislation. So at this point, the city attorney's office is working on the legislation, which will be introduced in the not too distant future. It will go to the Board of Supervisors for discussion and voting. So as everyone knows, since we've all been reading the papers, this is a pretty controversial proposal. It's going to get a lot of discussion at the board level, and we'll keep you up to date on where this is going. Okay, I'd like to shift gears for a moment and talk about one other interagency effort that we've been involved with, and then I'll switch to more program-specific comments. So the interagency effort is really preparing for we keep using different words, but a wave or a large group of migrants coming to the city. This work started off when Governors DeSantis and Abbott were gathering up people who had come across the southern border and putting them on buses or planes and sending them to northern cities. San Francisco has not had a group of migrants sent in that way yet. The numbers of migrants who are coming to the city or are making their own way here is growing slowly, but there's been no sort of massive wave or sending of people from the southern border. Nevertheless, we're trying to be prepared in the event that such a thing happens, or if the numbers just go up super high over what they've been. So there is an interagency team that's been working on this. And basically that team's been made up of the mayor's office, the Department of Emergency Management, staff from our agency, the Office of Community Engagement and Immigrant Affairs, and the Department of Public Health. And our piece of that has focused on sheltering and arrangement of short-term services. So, we have been working with the other agencies and with community-based organizations on what migrant case management services will look like, how we'll help people with relocation planning and providing legal assistance, how we'll do temporary sheltering and helping people who choose to relocate to San Francisco begin that process and find housing and find work. And so that work is ongoing, but it is a big effort that we want to be ready. Okay. When we look at agency, just a few notes there. I think I got it. Okay. So this is Hispanic Heritage Month. We did our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration at HSA last week. It was organized by the Mi Gente Employee Resource Group. It was a pretty well-attended, pretty successful event, and it was great to be able to have that sort of in-person event again. Happened on a very smoky day, and the smoke cleared for the 2 hours we were out of doors, which was wonderful. And then it came back. But it was a great event. We're also, in terms of agency-wide efforts, we're also in the midst of doing our biannual racial equity survey. And this is where, you know, we ask staff a bunch of questions with the goal of kind of getting a pulse of where we are on issues and attitudes having to do with racial equity. So this is very important for us in terms of sort of targeting our belonging efforts. And so that's going on right now. So we'll have some more information on that in the not too distant future. Keep giving me those looks. Okay, another major effort that's going on in the agency is actually quiet but very significant for us on an operational level is CalSAWS implementation. So HSA, like every other human services agency in the state, makes use of a SAWS system. SAWS is State Automated Welfare System. This is the computer system used for recording client information and doing eligibility calculations and generating payments. Those are the big things it does. It does 150 other things. And California, unlike every other state, had for the last 17 years, 4 systems, and then it had 3 systems. The federal government has been pushing California for a long time to get to one system. And about 5 years ago, there was an agreement made that the counties would come together as 58 counties and would manage a single system. So it's called the State Automated Welfare System. It's actually managed by the 58 counties through a Joint Powers Act consortium called CalSAWS. And so counties have been coming online on that system for quite a while now. So the last wave of counties is going to come online on October 30th of this year. The last wave of counties is made up of San Francisco, Sacramento, and San Luis Obispo. And that's happening. So about 2/3 of our workers in this agency touch that system at some way as part of their job. As I said, the system is where we keep eligibility information, is where we generate payments. So this is a huge, huge deal for us. Our executive staff basically met with the project leadership yesterday. So we're in the last month before we go live. We've had folks working on this for years now. Eligibility staff, finance staff, investigations division staff have all been in various forms of training for a while, and that training is going to ramp up over the next month. And then we will go live on October 30th, and then we'll have a while where we will be restabilizing. It's a big transition, and people will hopefully know how to use the system from day one, but it won't be perfect. We'll have hopefully everything configured perfectly, but there's a low probability. You know, this system connects with lots of other systems that we use, and we've been working on those connections and testing them, and we hope everything will be great, but it might not be. So we'll be going through that period starting at the end of next month, and we are assuming over the next several months we will get most of the bugs ironed out. But it'll be a time where this transition is a huge thing we're doing as an agency. So that's coming. Okay. Program news. A few things are going on that are worth, I think, calling your attention to. One is we are getting ready for new ABOD rules. ABOD is the able-bodied adults without disabilities designation, and this is important in the CalFresh program. For people who are ABODs, they're able to get 3 months of benefits within a 36-month period unless they participate in work activities of one sort or another. So, and then there are a group of people who are exempted from that requirement. So in 2023, the Federal Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023 changed that program a little bit. I should say that California is currently under an ABOD waiver, and that waiver is slated to remain in effect until October 31 of 2024. So this is not going to imminently affect anyone's eligibility, but the agency has to get ready for new ABOD rules. And the biggest changes in the rules relate to the age of the people who are covered. Up till now, it's been up to age 49. With the new law, the ages are going to start creeping up first to age 50, then to age 52, and then to age 54. So people over those ages had previously been exempted as a matter of age. Now they're going to be exempted when they get over certain higher ages. But there are new exempt groups that have been added to the allowable group of exemptions. People experiencing homelessness are now going to be exempt. Veterans, or most veterans, will be exempt. Most people who are either current foster youth or recent ex-foster youth will be exempt. So that's some changes, and we're working through, and we're making sure we have the right information on people so that, assuming the waiver ends at the end of not this October, but next October, we'll be prepared. Within the Medi-Cal program, we are still, as Trent has mentioned, in a long period of unwinding from pandemic exemption. So during the pandemic, people would come on Medi-Cal and we wouldn't have to do redetermination. So people stayed on. Redeterminations have restarted, and we are assuming that there will be some fall off in caseload. It's really too soon to tell exactly how that's going to play out. But as of the July data, which we now have, 80% of San Francisco Medi-Cal recipients who were up for redetermination had resubmitted their form. So a fairly good rate of people coming in that first wave. So we're going to see how this plays out over time. For WDD, I guess part of the big news is that the Jobs Now program, our Welfare to Work program, is really beginning to pick up again. It was also very slow during the pandemic and in the period after the pandemic. But in the current fiscal year, we're beginning to have a higher level of activity, and we'll report more on that. We have helped 208 people into unsubsidized and subsidized job placements. And the average placement wage that we are seeing now is $22.40 an hour, which is good. I mean, that's wages are beginning to creep up, and that's great. And that's certainly something where we have been eager to encourage in the structure of that program. Another ESSS item just worth mentioning is the housing support program. This is a program under the CalWORKs program where we are able to subsidize the housing of homeless CalWORKs families and keep them housed. We currently have 159 families in the program. This is an expensive program, and we grew it a lot during the pandemic years where we had a big increase in one-time money. And so we are going to have strong funding for that program through this fiscal year and into next fiscal year. And then the one-time money runs out. So we and other counties are kind of working together to figure out where do we go from here? How do we advocate for a continuation of housing money for these clients? So that's on the ESSS side. For FCS, the big news is that our guaranteed income pilot project will be starting next month. The goal of this program is to help former foster youth become more economically stable and giving them the bandwidth to pursue work, to pursue education, while giving them $1,200 a month, which they can use for housing and other expenses. There's been a fair amount of work with the state and now locally to exempt this money from eligibility for other programs. So if someone, say, for example, was to qualify for another program administered by HSA, they wouldn't be precluded by this. The pilot program will provide money to 150 low-income youth. The amount is $1,200 a month. And the time window that we have to work in here is 18 months. And, you know, as you know, guaranteed income has been something that's been much discussed in America and in California. There have been relatively few pilot programs funded by the state. San Francisco's program is one of them. And we are going to be part of a statewide evaluation. And then we've also done our contracted for our own evaluation of this program, because what we're interested in and concerned with is, can a program like this help young people in that, you know, in that first period of time after emancipation from the foster care system and the extended foster care system? Can it help them stabilize and really get to a place where they can be self-sufficient? Does having this $1,200 a month give them that ability? So that'll be a very interesting project for us, and I think you know, really important for the way we look at these transitional moments. Okay, that is my report.
Or Dan?
I just wonder if the government shutdown affects the border, that will ramp up the thought of sending migrants here. I mean, you know.
So I'm always loath to speak in moments like this, because it's a little bit out of my ken. My sense is from everything I've done that there are many agencies in the federal government who are able to declare staff as not affected by the shutdown, and Department of Homeland Security is certainly one. legislature.
Questions from members of the commission? Is there any public comment?
Please raise your hand there, press sign three. You have public comment related to the meeting director, Captain's Report. Okay, so what comes?
Item 6 on the agenda is our employee of the month. And I want you guys to all know that I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning trying to pronounce his name. I did it in my sleep. My wife didn't know what I was talking about, but the bottom line is our employee of the month is Zafani Inhisho. Could you help me with that? Okay, thank you. Well, over the past 5 years, I'm just going to say he has worked as the senior financial forecasting analyst and master number cruncher in the fiscal and budget units. His dedication, positive attitude, and mastery of Excel are an inspiration to everyone who has had the fortune of working with him. He does the lion's share of the detailed analytical work used to inform the 3-month, 6-month, and 9-month year-end financial forecasts for the agency. His work is instrumental in ensuring the agency's quarterly updates to the mayor's budget office and controller's office are well-informed, accurate, and submitted on time. Likewise, his work is critical to spotlighting areas of under and overspending so the agency can proactively tackle financial shortfalls or seize opportunities to repurpose savings to cover one-time needs. He develops and maintains several financial models that replicate calculations typically achieved through complex data system using Excel, and his knack of crafting formulas that fill spreadsheets with nothing short of magic. He openly serves as the team's go-to expert for tips to streamline, troubleshoot, automate analytical tasks. Colleagues fondly describe his technical skills as dazzling, tournament-worthy, and even borderline unnatural. Through his work, he has enabled not only the team, but also other groups to analyze vast amounts of data in a significantly reduced amount of time. Thank you for your hard work and contributions, Ifani, and congratulations. Deputy Director Kaplan, would you like to comment? This is right up your alley.
I will. Thanks. One of the things that I feel about an Employee of the Month nomination like this is Fani does an extremely important job and a very high-profile job within the Budget and Finance group, but not a high-profile job outside of that group. And so this is, I think, a great opportunity to call attention to someone who does something that's really crucial for the agency. And the work he does, and President Khan said it in his remarks, was that he is a key player in a process that allows the budget and finance team to know where the money is, to know where it's being underspent, and to know where it's being overspent. And the budget and finance team, using this work, holds what it calls a one-time only budget process, which repurposes money that's available to cover needs that are emerging and were not necessarily known about or budgeted at the main budget process. It identifies area where there's underspending and when there is state or federal money that might be quote unquote left on the table, and allows us to address that in a timely way. And so part of the reason that San Francisco's Human Services Agency remains a very resource-rich agency compared to many other human services agencies is it does a really good job with this kind of work. And Ifani's work is really kind of at the center of that. And so I think it's great that the commission is honoring this work and honoring Ifani.
Oh, here, sorry. We're just waiting.
Okay. So yeah, I guess it's not everyone who receives this award, so I very much appreciate you guys taking the time to honor me. I mean, there's over 2,000 people in the agency, and you guys do this, we spend a lot of time in here, so I definitely hope that you honor and do good work and be exemplary and be supportive to the people around me, and also help the agency goals as much as I can. I just wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude to the groups of people, to the individuals. Starting off my professional journey was working with Florence in Southern California, and I very much appreciate them for providing me the opportunity to see all the ins and outs of city government, and by extension, I got some insight into what county government would be like in terms of working with different departments and working with different entities. Appreciate Team Torrance and especially James Lee for providing me a lot of hardworking work ethic, you know, the whole element of being creative and a self-starter and figuring things out. He definitely pushed me in that area, and I appreciate him for developing that, because that was a stepping stone for where I am now. Also providing me the leeway to be creative and analytical and develop these models inside with transit. Doing that created a foundation for me to be able to come here and do that now with the City County of San Francisco. So I very much appreciate Team Torrance and James and my colleagues there for working with me, and also San Francisco in general. I appreciate San Francisco because it's a very conducive environment. A lot of the people are very willing and happy to work together to help you, to teach you. Me coming here, although I had some technical skills, I didn't have a lot of the knowledge base that a lot of people have. So me being able to have a moment to talk with someone and getting some insight into accruals or deferrals, or gain some insight into what this accounting date means, or gaining all of the understanding that I need to be able to do my job, has been very much working with other people and them being patient with me and talking with me. So I very much appreciate that. And I also want to, of course, appreciate Celia for being very knowledgeable and hardworking, and pushing me as well in terms of also I appreciate having very detailed work plans that enable me to have a very clear mind about what's coming up, what to do, and how to keep on pace with everything. So I very much appreciate her support and developing me to do well with my work. And from the first year, I've been learning and now it's been 5 years. I still feel I have so much more to learn, and I still feel that there's so much more I hope to be able to do. I also want to take a moment to appreciate my cousins and my aunties, because it's from my family culture that's been this element of constantly pushing yourself to become the best version of yourself and never stopping short. Like, how far will you go? What's next? You know, what's the next step after high school or college? What are you going to do next? So I very much appreciate them for that environment. And for my sister, Leslie, for actually being a large part of the reason why I'm even here in the first place. I was originally in Southern California and wrapped up in life there, but she kept pulling me. She's like, "Oh, here's this job opportunity, here's that job opportunity. You gotta try, you gotta come up here." She really wanted me to come up and join. And then she had just got a house at the time when I finally did get the job offer. So she helped me with the transition to come here and finally get settled and be able to try this side of life out. So I very much appreciate it. I wouldn't see all this and do all this if it wasn't for, I don't know what I'd be doing so right now. So I definitely want to express appreciation for that. And it's been a while, so I'm going to try and wrap this up right now. So I'd be remiss to not also express gratitude to God for his being a source of strength and inspiration in my life. And throughout my life, there's moments I've had hesitation and self-doubt. Like even when I went to grad school, I was like, am I really worth going to this school? Am I able to do well? And then I ended up getting an award at the end for doing very well. And now I come here, I was like kind of hesitant, like this is a huge step up from what I was doing before. Can I do well? And then now you guys have come to honor me. So it's like the element of having faith and having hope and constantly acting with love and being patient with other people, that those kinds of things will, I feel, continue to help develop me and help me become a better person. So thank you very much for all you guys, for all your help. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Of the minutes. Are you a Dodger fan or a Giants fan?
Hey.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
It's good looking on.
All right.
All right, don't forget your bag.
Item 7 on the agenda is the consent calendar. Do any of the commissioners want to remove an item for individual discussion? Is there any public comment?
For public comment, please raise your hand or start for the consent calendar. Okay, so thank you.
Is there a motion to approve item 7, the consent calendar?
So
All in favor?
All right.
Consent calendar has been approved. Item 8A is a request for approval of the county's refugee service plan for federal fiscal years 2024 through 2026, presented by Andy Beatley Hagler.
Commissioners. Immigrant and Refugee Services Coordinator at HSA. The Department of Benefits and Family Support requests approval of the County Refugee Services Plan for federal fiscal years 2024 to 2026. Now that means starting on October 1st, 2023, going through September 30th of 2026. The plan is submitted to the California Department of Social Services Refugee Programs Bureau, or RPB, and outlines HSA services for the refugee population. Refugee adults without children are eligible to apply for Refugee Cash Assistance, or RCA. The RCA program and related administrative costs are 100% federally funded through Refugee Social Services or RSS funds. San Francisco is one of 8 refugee-impacted counties that receive RSS funds, and RPB requires these counties to submit a 3-year plan with annual updates. Participants in the RCA program have their eligibility determined by HSA staff and then are referred to an employment specialist who assesses their vocational and educational needs and creates an employment plan. Community-based providers help engage participants in employment services such as English language training and vocational trainings. Services also include work-related acculturation, job readiness, job placement, and retention. Participants receive RCA benefits for a maximum of 12 months. So I'd just like to briefly review the budget. We just received our federal fiscal year 2023 allocation of RSS funds, and that amount was $832,804. Now that's compared to $289,000 from the previous year and $185,000 from the year before that. So it's increasing significantly. In addition to that, we also received $1,472,856 for the Housing Assistance for Ukrainians program allocation, and an additional $500,000 for the additional Ukraine Supplemental Appropriations Act. So I'm going to be, you'll probably be hearing more from me about that funding next month, but that's all for now, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
For item 8A, please raise your hand or *3. Yeah. No public comment. Thank you.
Motion to approve item 8A.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 8B is a new grant agreement request for San Francisco Marin Food Bank presented by Miko Ye.
Good morning, Commissioners. Oh, vertically challenged. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Miko Ye. I'm a program specialist with the Alignment and Guidance Program, also known as ANG. ANG requests authorization to enter into a new grant agreement with the San Francisco Marin Food Bank for CalFresh and Medi-Cal promotion and application assistance during the period of October 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2027 in the amount of $1,547,452 plus a 10% contingency for a total grant amount not to exceed $1,702,197. This grant is designed to increase San Francisco's CalFresh participation rate via a targeted outreach campaign conducted by the San Francisco Marin Food Bank. The primary goal of the grant is to reduce hunger and food insecurity in San Francisco. The food bank works directly with clients by providing CalFresh outreach, screening, and application assistance. They also train and support a network of local community providers with outreach activities. The San Francisco Marin Food Bank has successfully partnered with SFHSA to provide these services for the past 13 years. Our partner Liliana Sandoval from the food bank and I are happy to answer any questions you may have. And Jennifer Grant, the contract manager, is also here to answer any questions.
Are there any questions or comments on the commission?
We'll open public comment at this time. Please raise your hand on WebEx or *3 on the phone. Okay. Closing public comment.
Is there a motion to approve item 8B?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Item 8C is a new grant request from Seneca presented by Raina Seabay.
Good morning, President Khan and Commissioners. My name is Raina Sabay. I'm an acting program support analyst with Family and Children's Services. I'm here to request authorization to enter into a new grant agreement with Seneca Family of Agencies to provide relative search services for the period of September 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026 in the amount of $45,000 plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $49,500. The purpose of this grant is to conduct internet-based searches for relatives of all minors placed in out-of-home care by HSA FCS. When a child is removed from their parent or guardian, the county is required to exercise due diligence to identify and locate the child's maternal and paternal relatives within 30 days in order to notify relatives of the child's removal and other specified information about providing care for and contacting the child. Relative notification is intended to encourage the maintenance and development of relative relationships and the possible placement of dependent children with relatives. If relative searches are not conducted thoroughly and updated throughout the time a child and family is involved with FCS, this can have significant impacts on child and youth permanency and well-being, as well as connection to family and tribe. In accordance with Welfare and Institutions Code, Section 358, due diligence searches for relatives must include multiple and varied search methods, including the use of internet search tools to locate relatives. FCS conducted an informal bid, and the contract has been tentatively awarded to Seneca Family of Agencies. Seneca Search Services combines multiple data sources to produce robust family finding search results provided by an experienced search agent, who I believe is here with us virtually today, Seneca Search Manager Cliff Venable. Due to the legal mandate associated with the service, contracted Seneca Search Services commenced as of September 1st. We would be happy to answer any questions you may have about this request. Thank you.
Is there any public comment?
Public comment at this time, *3 or raise your hand. Okay, we're closing public comment. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
There's a change on the agenda.
We'll be presenting in Tommy's place for the next item. Thanks.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Kwong. I'm a program analyst with our citywide food access team here at HSA. I'm here today to request your approval to enter into a new grant agreement with Dolores Street Community Services from October 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025 in the amount of $742,000 plus a 10% contingency for a total not to exceed amount of $816,750. Funding for this grant is provided through city and county general funds. The purpose of this grant is to provide free, high-quality, and culturally tailored groceries to low-income LGBTQ+ San Franciscans. Our team, the Citywide Food Access Team, focused a category of our latest RFP, 1091, on the LGBTQ+ community because this community faces disproportionately high food insecurity rates in San Francisco, even when controlling for other socioeconomic factors. Our grantee, Dolores Street Community Services, will expand its reach in different parts of the city by partnering with trusted community-based organizations across San Francisco that have deep roots with the LGBTQ+ community. Dolores Street Community Services is finalizing these partnerships now, and with the approval of this grant, they will provide over 150 households with free groceries through this program. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Is there questions from the commission? Is there any public comment?
Quick comment on this item, *3 or raise your hand on WebEx. Just give it a minute.
you. Item 8E is a grant modification request for multiple providers presented by Kathy once again. That's not her last name, Kathy Vaughn. Kathy, once again.
So for this item, I'm stating authorizations agreements with two of our grantees, APA Family Support Services and Self-Help for the Elderly, for the period of October 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025, in the additional amount of $1,645,803, plus a 10% contingency for a revised total amount not to exceed $2,470,383. The individual grant amounts are detailed in the table in the agenda for you, and funding for these grants are provided through the city and county general funds. So our team, Citywide Food Access Team, released RFP 1074 to seek trusted nonprofits to provide food programs in currently under-resourced areas of the city and to increase the capacity of organizations to provide culturally relevant food and culturally tailored services to San Francisco's Asian American and Pacific Islander community. These two grant modifications will allow APA Family Support Services and Self-Help for the Elderly to more than double their current service objectives and to be able to extend their services for an additional year through June 30th, 2025. Additionally, this funding will allow APA Family Support Services to expand their services into an additional neighborhood and begin offering a free grocery distribution program in Chinatown. Here to speak about her organization and her program is Fanny Lamb, Executive Director of APA Family Support Services.
Thank you, Kathy. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, HSA staff and management. Thank you for this opportunity to speak and share about our organizations and express our gratitude for this AAPI food program. APA Family Support Services, for 36 years, we have been serving underprivileged families with the specialties of serving Asian Pacific Islanders, children, youth, and families. We serve about 8,000 children and families a year with various service with case management, behavioral health counseling, food program, and family resource centers. We operate 3 family support service centers in the city of San Francisco, in Chinatown, Excelsior, and Visitation Valley. We have a long-term relationship with HSA. HSA has been supporting us with the API Parental Stress Line for 22 years. We are thrilled to have this opportunity to work with the Citywide Food Access Team to provide culturally appropriate food. This culturally appropriate food does not only serve the physical hunger issue, but also give the mental comfort to our constituents who often move or immigrant from very rich cultural neighborhoods or cities or countries that they really need that food to support themselves and celebrate their culture and enhance family values, and also to strengthen their identity as a cultural immigrant. So once again, I really appreciate this opportunity to speak, and thank you for the support to our community. Thank you.
We're happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Any questions? Is there any public?
Please raise your hand or star 3 if you're calling in for public comment. This is. Yeah, he has it listed one at a time.
Oh,
Yep.
Family support.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Is there a motion to approve item 8E, self-help for the elderly?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any public comment at this time?
Any item you'd like to talk about, star 3 or raise your hand. Just one moment. Okay. Thank you for the